Hello and welcome. This is BQ Prime. I am Agam Vakil and you're watching the FNO show. Well, a step forward and a step backward. That's how things are panning out as far as Indian markets are concerned. And that's exactly what we're seeing with respect to the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. We're looking at an advance, a day in advance, and then we see a sharp fall, and another day following a green candle would be followed by a red. So it certainly is a little bit confusing for a lot of investors and traders specifically out there. And while we do have a lot of data which does suggest, a little bit of short covering coming through on Friday. Today, we're seeing that bit of reversal come through as well. So we're going to talk about a lot of these aspects. And of course, to very quickly, before I bring in our expert for today, touch upon what's happening in the options market as well. As far as your 5th October expiry for the Nifty is concerned, max OI is around 19,600 and a call and the 19,500 put. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a range because we've seen a very sharp change in ranges on an every single day basis. But for now, we are certainly looking at more and more writing at the 19,500 calls as well as puts. As far as the Bank Nifty is concerned, we're once again, looking at the 44,500 mark, which has served as a pivot, as we've been talking about, not just today in the last week, but over the past 4 to 5 months. And today is not any different, but a lot of the activity has now shifted towards the 44,300 calls as well as puts, where we're seeing a flurry of activity coming through. In fact, the 44,300 put is also where we saw max open interest as far as the weekly options expiry is concerned. But what do we make of it? Are we expecting consolidation? Are we looking at strength? Are we looking at weakness going forward? Let's bring in an expert for today. We have Gaurav Bissa. He's the Vice President at Incred Securities, who joins us on the show. Gaurav has been looking at the markets for a very, very long time. And of course, his experience will be valuable to us. Gaurav, good morning and thank you so much for joining in. Let's start with the benchmark, the key benchmark here in the Nifty. What's the way forward here?
Good morning. Thank you for inviting to a show. Well, when it comes to Nifty, we have seen consistent formations of lower tops, lower bottoms on hourly and 2 hourly charts. Basically, it's a sign of a downtrend. And we have seen multiple supports being broken, being taken out. The only positive aspect at this point in time is on closing basis, we are not closed below 55-day exponential moving average since April of 2023, which is currently placed around 19,550 spot levels. So on intraday perspective, we are breaching those levels, but on closing basis, we are generally inching higher. So if that is taken out, if we are closing below 19,500, then this fall can augment towards the level of 19,250-300, which can be seen in a matter of 3 or 4 days. But if you look at hourly charts or a 120-minute chart, you will see that there's a proper RSI divergence that we are seeing. So on that perspective, as I said, that the current levels are lucrative. As a disclaimer, what we have advised is buying the current junction in Nifty to our clients. We are not playing for a major upside, maybe a 200-250 points bounce back, a temporary bounce back can be seen, and after that we can again see benefits slipping towards 19,200. So on a very immediate basis, I'm looking for a bounce back in Nifty index, which can be seen either today or tomorrow.
All right, Gaurav, and would your assessment of the Bank Nifty be similar?
Yes. So if you look at the structure of Bank Nifty, when Nifty made a fresh swing low, it broke the previous swing low. Bank Nifty don't do that. In the previous swing low, it has sustained above those levels, and that is making it interesting. It is also trading in rising channel pattern. Supports are around 44,000. So as long as 44,000 is sustained, Bank Nifty can go towards the level of 45,200 to 45,500. Again, as I said, this is going to be a temporary bounce back sort of. But at the current juncture, I'm playing more of a bounce back because the risk reward for fresh shorting is not that lucrative. And also, if there's a small stability that comes in the global market, then can result in a very swift upside and that can trigger the stop losses. So as I said, the risk reward for long, at least for a bounce, is more compared to for the short side.
Absolutely. Very evident in a lot of these option premiums as well. something which has been observable of late. But I'm gonna very quickly also address a handful of stocks which are in focus, at least in the futures and options space. And besides the fact that we are looking at a lot of traction with respect to your benchmarks in the key Nifty 50 stocks, where we have seen a fair amount of changes, over the previous few days. Of course, in terms of advanced declines, there are more declines in today's day of trade as against advances, and naturally on an expected basis because the markets are weak. A lot of the auto stocks will be in focus. So in today's day of trade, we are looking at some weakness in Eicher Motors and Maruti Suzuki, as well as Hero MotoCorp for that matter. Of course, these are reacting to the monthly volumes, and we are looking at a little bit of weakness and thereby at least shorts building into the system in today's day of trade. That said, what's also keeping or helping the markets remain perhaps supporting the markets to a certain extent is HUL, Asian Paints from the consumption space, and Adani Ports, which is the other stock in focus as far as the Nifty 50 is concerned. But Gaurav, I'll come to you. You do have two calls on your radar, one long and one short. Can you take us through those?
Yeah. So if you look at the overall setup in the broader markets, you'll find that there are certain stocks which have been stable, if not going higher. And buying those stocks would make more sense because once market witness a bounce back, these stocks will tend to see far superior returns. So on that perspective, Coal India is looking good. There are two or three reasons. One, it is part of Nifty PSC index, and public sector stocks, if you see, they have been very stable. They have been outperforming. Coal India witnessed a decent breakout on point and figure charts. We have seen decent amount of additions also happening in Coal India. It is sustaining those levels at time when Nifty was correcting. Coal India has been more of a stable one. So one can keep a stop loss of 275, play for targets of 330. Second would be a sell on AU Bank. If you see banking stocks, your larger banks have been stable, if not very weak, apart from HDFC Bank. Beyond that, if you see whether we're talking about Axis Bank, which has been very stable, ICICI Bank, not falling, not rising, it's been stuck at the same levels. Same goes for IndusInd Bank. But if you look at AU Small Finance Bank, you will see that it has been consistently breaking multiple support area. There have been decent amount of shorts also in the system. It is still making fresh swing lows. So on that perspective, one can create a short in AU Bank, keeping a stop loss of 730 and play for targets of 680.
Okay, those are some of the stock views coming in from Gaurav. Gaurav, we do have a little bit more time, so I want to quickly address the Fin Nifty as well. But before I go to Gaurav on his view on the Fin Nifty, what we're seeing, of course, is the weakness seeping through because of the indices across. As far as the Fin Nifty expiries goes in today's day of trade, we are looking at a lot of traction around the 19,700 mark. That is the calls and the puts. And at the moment, of course, there is max OI around the 19,700 call, and the 19,800 call as well has a substantial amount of accumulation in OI. So, I reckon that at least a lot of these option writers will look to these specific levels to if they haven't already deployed their selling strategies here. Gaurav, I'm going to come to you. In general, how would you play today's expiry when it comes to the Fin Nifty? What's your view here?
If you look at Fin Nifty, it has been trading in a range. The last 4 to 5 days of data, it's been more of a range bound one. Currently trading near the support area. The pressure will mount once Fin Nifty future goes below 19,685. It will see a fresh breakdown on point and figure charts. Also, we are seeing breakdown sort of happening, and even at 10 minutes or 5 minutes close below 19,685 on intraday perspective, we can see a fall happening towards 19,400. 450. So there can be increased pressure that can be seen, but I would not recommend shorting at the current juncture. I would wait for a confirmation which will happen once it trades below 19,685 on the future side.
Okay, Gaurav, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us through your views on the markets. We're going to keep an eye on a lot of the facts that Gaurav took us through. For now, the Nifty is trying to defend the 19,500 level at the moment, where we have seen once again a lot of writing based on support, specifically put writing. But time will tell whether or not we do eventually close below 19,500 in today's day of trade. But signing out for now. There's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BQ Prime, and we will keep bringing you more.